Stephen Bide for giving us the state of traffic in the heart of the city this morning. Obviously, because it's a public holiday, many people are now enjoying their beds, so there's not going to be so much heavy traffic throughout the course of the day. But speaking of the public holiday, the 1st of May 2025, it is Labour Day. And as many are taking this day off, of course, me and my colleagues in studio here, we're taking the day off to amplify the matters concerning labor laws, labor rights, and what you need to know as one who is a worker or one who is on the side of policy, one who is an employer and one who is an employee. What are the duties and responsibility, especially in this era more than ever? Backbone of it is that every year the International Labour Organization and other national organizations do announce a theme that shows urgent issues in the global workforce. This day is more than a day off. It's a moment to reflect. It's a moment to appreciate, and of course it's a moment to renew commitment to workplace justice and equity. And as the world is definitely coming together to look at the different issues that continue to crop up with the different generations of labor force, we look at the values of dignity, we look at equality, and are there fair opportunities for every worker in the workforce in the different sectors. So this morning I'm joined by experts on the subject matter. I am Priscilla Regina Naluga. Welcome to our Kickstarter. Now, to my immediate left, I do have a labor lawyer, Johnan and Nuwandinda. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Very good. And then we equally also have Yusuf Muziransa. Is that how you pronounce it?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. He's the spokesperson with the Equal Opportunities Commission, and you have definitely been very instrumental in ensuring that there's equality and fairness as far as government entities are concerned. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Priscilla, and thank you for serving on Labour Day especially.
All right. So actually, let me start with you. What are some of the continuing or recurring issues that crop up as far as labour is concerned and workforce is concerned?
All right, thank you so much, Priscilla. Like you introduced me, my name is Yusuf Muziransa. I work for the Equal Opportunities Commission, which is a government agency set up to ensure there is equity in this country. The Equal Opportunities Commission on a daily basis deals with quite a number of issues related to labor that are brought by different Ugandans. We serve quite a number of constituencies, but we pay a lot of attention to the vulnerable persons. And if I talk about vulnerable persons, I'm talking about, in our perspective as the Equal Opportunities Commission, I'm talking about the youth, I'm talking about women, I'm talking about persons with disabilities, I'm talking about ethnic minorities. Ethnic minorities can be defined in two aspects. One is smaller tribes living in within larger tribes. You can take the example of the Ndoboros in Sebei. They're a small community living in a larger community. They can always have issues because of such settings. And we also deal with issues of older persons and other categories of people. Now, these categories of people that I've just broken down are coming to the Commission on a daily basis to petition the Commission on issues related to labor. We have dealt with an issue of some sugar factory in Busoga, where workers at the same level are earning different amounts of money. Because of color, someone decides to pay a Ugandan, I don't know, if someone decides to pay a person of another color like 5 times what they are paying a Ugandan. And you know, because it's a factory, people are losing some parts of their bodies. Find someone has lost a leg, someone has lost a hand, but there's no compensation. Quite a number of things. Then in the category of persons with disability, same things. Someone is working, but they are not being paid because of their disabilities. Someone has refused to be employed. Someone refuses to employ someone because they're a person with disability. This person has all the qualifications. They have everything that can put them in a particular portfolio. Someone has refused to employ them because of their disability. Sometimes they are employed, but someone refuses to elevate them. Someone is stuck in one position for years. You go to the youth, someone is saying, I can't employ you because you have no experience. Someone has just come out of campus and you're asking them for experience, sincerely speaking. So on a daily basis, the Commission deals with quite a number of issues related to labor. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. What you have mentioned really falls under what we would term as workers' rights and the work that they get to do. For us as a country, there's workers' rights and freedoms that are constantly infringed on, stepped on by the different entities. And you get to see a lot of people not knowing what their right is, a lot of workers not knowing how to then express that right and where to express that right, later on where to get help in order to then get the kind of resolution that they are looking to. And so it begs the question, what is the stance of workers' rights and observance of workers' rights for us as a country, Johnan?
Thank you, Madam Aruoga. I'm Nuwandinda Johnan Rwambuka. I'm an advocate of the High Court. I work with Rwambuka and Company Advocates. I thank the management of NTV for hosting me again this year. I was here last year with you. Workers' rights. In Uganda, we have labor laws which stipulate these rights. Some rights are contractual, but some are given by statute by the laws. And these rights, for instance, there are rights under the Employment Act. One, there's a right indicating how much time one should spend at work. And if you go beyond that time, you should be paid overtime. That is 8 hours a day or 48 hours in a week. Then the rights to do with leave. Leave, it can be a pregnant woman, that if you produce, you are supposed to get 60 working days, not 60 days, 60 working days off work. And when you are on that leave, nursing the baby, you should be paid. Then there is what you call annual leave. The law gives a minimum of 21 days. 21 days. Initially it used to be 18 days, but with the 2006 amendment, the law now gives 21 working days. Every worker must have a holiday of 21 working days every year they're in service. Then there is paternity leave for fathers. If a wife gives birth, they have 4 days of leave to be off work. And workers have an entitlement to be paid their wages. If you have done the work, you must be remunerated. It's a right. And the law stipulates that you are supposed to be given. It stipulates what can be deducted on that wage and what cannot be deducted. And if it's infringed, then one can be able to complain. Then there is workers. There are rights relating to injuries, right to be treated and compensated in case you have suffered work-related injury or disease. And it's a big challenge that in Uganda we have over 7 million working population, over 7 million workers, but according to the Insurance Regulatory Authority, only 30,000, about 30,000 workers are insured. So that means if someone has suffered a work-related injury, you are going to work, you are knocked by a body.
And that insurance is also very categoric
yes,
strictly to help to common diseases here and there. Anything that, for example, what happened to our journalists recently is not covered in that insurance.
They should be covered because you must have suffered injury or a disease in the course of work. So if there is a protest and the journalist is covering a protest, that if he's maybe hit by a bullet or something, then the person must be insured. So there are rights to do with the weekly rest, that if you are working in a week, you should have a day of rest. Then you are entitled to a lunch break. I treat it as a right because it's an entitlement given by the law. So these are the basic rights which are in the law as a minimum, that the moment you are a worker, you must have this. An employer is not allowed to take anything away, but he may give more. Instead of saying you have 21 days of leave, they can say you have 30 days of leave. Or if you give birth, you can be away for 6 months. It's allowed. You can contract outside the law if you are giving better terms. Then we have rights in case you have conflict at work, if they suspect that you are done some misconduct at work, you are supposed to be given a fair hearing. You should be able to know the accusations against you, respond to the accusations before they can decide whether to terminate you or dismiss you. And also, in case your performance is poor, they can't just say you are performing poorly, so you should go, or that you came late, so you should go. You should be able to explain. For someone may be coming late at work because maybe they have a sick patient, or for themselves they are sick, they have to first take medication. Then, if a worker has been terminated now, there are rights also. You have a right to complain. First of all, you have a right to be paid your terminal benefits. The issue of notice, for instance, if you have worked for 1 year, you are supposed to get a notice of 2 weeks. Or if you have worked between 1 year and 5 years, you're supposed to get 1 month. Between 5 years and 9 years, you're supposed to get 2 months notice. If you have worked beyond 10 years, the law gives a minimum of 3 months. If they don't give you that notice, then the termination is taken to be wrong.
Valid.
And in the event that you have been terminated, your benefits should be paid within 7 days. They have let you go from the workplace. Within 7 days, they should pay your term benefits. In the event that these benefits have not been paid, or you are not okay with the termination that was given to you, then a worker has a right to complain to the labor office. Make a complaint indicating where you are working, how much you are earning, and why do you think you have a grievance against the employer. Maybe you are wrongfully suspended, and even again, maybe take you back. If you have committed anything wrong at work and they want to discipline you, the employer has the right to investigate you, but they can say be at home for some time. The law says you can't go beyond 1 month, 4 weeks
of investigation.
So if they can't say go away and you spend 4 months, a year that they're still investigating. So you have a right to ensure that if you are away on investigations, when you come back, you get a fair hearing. In case you have been terminated, you complain to the labor office. And to complain to the labor office, you have to, if it's a normal termination with a notice, you can complain within 3 months from the date of termination. And if you don't complain within 3 months, maybe for one reason or another, then you can request the labor officer to extend the time within which to lodge your complaint to the district labor officer. And if you have been summarily dismissed, they didn't give you, they say you committed a grave misconduct, the time within which to complain is 6 months. So after you have made your complaint, the labor officer may mediate. If there is no mediation, they can adjudicate, hear the case, call your witnesses, the employer calls the witnesses, then they make a decision, which we call an award. So after I've made an award, if the employer doesn't, and once the decision is made, that it has to be complied with by the employer within 7 days. If they don't comply, then the employee can apply to the industrial court to execute that award, because now that's judgment of court now. The labor officer is taken as a court. And if the decision made by the labor officer is not favoring either party, they have a right to appeal to the industrial court, lodge a case in the industrial court by appealing within 30 days. So the industrial court, under those, is mandated to hear the case expeditiously and ensure that they give justice. But now there are challenges.
Yeah. Before we get into the challenges, the things that you have mentioned, I'm sure that someone in our audience this morning has had them and you've tickled them to go like, oh my goodness, all those rights, I'm actually supposed to be having them. They probably ticked off some that they're not enjoying as workers. And this brings into scrutiny, there's the workers, but then there are those that employ the workers, Yusuf. And the fact that they have, in a certain way, come up with blinders that then excuse them from allowing or empowering the worker to enjoy the rights that have been spoken of. So let's talk about the infringement of rights on the side of the employers or the organizations that employ these people.
All right, Priscilla, I want to first of all let Ugandans know that as a country we have enough laws to protect our worker. Uganda is signatory to so many international conventions that protect workers. Regionally, we are signatory to so many laws. Locally, we have enough laws. We have the Workers' Compensation Act, we have the Employment Act, we have the Equal Opportunities Commission Act, we have the Human Rights Act, and so many others, like he has been explaining. We even have institutions where people can go for redress. We have the Ministry of Gender, which is the ministry, the mother ministry, where issues of labor can be handled. We have the Equal Opportunities Commission where I work. Someone can come and get their issues sorted from the Equal Opportunities Commission. We have the Uganda Human Rights Commission. We have the Uganda Police. Yeah, we have the workers union. So many institutions where someone can run to, plus laws. The challenge that we have is that Ugandans, not so many Ugandans know that these laws and institutions exist and they can go there and seek redress. So what we need to do, and the Equal Opportunities Commission is using this day, we've devoted today to publicize to Ugandans that actually we have enough laws as a country to protect you as a worker, and we are asking you to kindly use the laws available and the institutions set up to ensure you live a dignified life as a worker. Going back to the questions you have, the question that you have given me, sometimes the employees use that gap of ignorance on the side of the employers use that gap to really do whatever they want to do with their employees, to manipulate them. So you find that the employer knows that someone has to have a contract, but they will not give it to you, and because of your ignorance of the law, you will not ask for it. So in the end, so many things happen to you, but I mean, you have no contract. And that is, even the other place that
binding documents,
there's nothing.
Can start with.
There is nothing. Like I've told you about a case of a sugar factory, which the Equal Opportunities Commission handled. We got there, people have no contracts. Yeah, someone is telling you, okay, fine, you are saying that this person is my employee. What shows that they are my employee? And there's no contract.
Yusuf, on that note, how do we match what we see as government saying that we are creating more jobs, we're employing so many thousands of people, versus the quality of employment that they're speaking about?
You see, Priscilla, on an annual basis, government creates jobs for its people. But government alone, and the Minister of Finance was saying it the other day, government alone cannot employ everyone. So what we need to do is to ensure that our people understand the law, in that even if they are employed in the private sector or elsewhere, they are able to protect themselves from abuse from their employers. I think that is where we should be heading as a country. However, government cannot employ everyone. There's no country on this planet where government is employing everyone. So what we need to do is to educate our people on the laws that protect them as workers. That alone is going to simplify so many things.
But then there's the other side of government that is employing the people in public sector, not observing some of the laws and some of the things that have been spoken of this with council.
It goes back to the ignorance of the people, because even government can be taken to court. In case things are not going the direction things should be going, someone can seek redress. We have the laws, we have the institution mechanisms. People can seek redress. So it's a matter of people understanding that as an employer, these are my rights, and if they are infringed upon, this is where I can go and seek redress. This is what I'm supposed to do as an employee. All right.
Council, yes, with the increasing rate of unemployment in this country, I have picked up on a few indicators here and there. Employers are using that as an opportunity to actually manage their labor force that they have in organizations. For example, if people are demanding for an increase in their wages, in their earnings, they'll say, no, it's okay. By the way, you have two options. You can stay with what you have, or you put your tools down and we hire somebody else. And that has definitely worked for the employer. One, because they don't have to deal with this workforce that has understood their rights and they're simply demanding their rights, and so they want to get another ignorant worker so that the system continues favoring the employer. What do you say about that?
It is really absurd that employers take advantage of the situation instead of giving a better way, because in Uganda we don't have minimum wage.
And it's not really about wages sometimes, it's about the work. They're wanting to offer you more work or to give you more work, but the work is not resonating with the pay. They're not adding you money, but they're giving you more work. It's infringing on your many other rights that are beyond workers' rights. And so,
yes, the best way is for the people to begin thinking, the moment you get a job, think of the day you want to leave that job. That is, don't look at the job as the end of it. Because one day, you will have to leave it. Either you will have to die or they will be terminated. There is a challenge of casualization of labor when they're talking about the contract. Of course, legally, the contract is always there. Whether it is written or not written, there is a contract. The moment you give me work, I do the work, and you pay me. It's transaction. That's a contract. But sometimes you find employers taking advantage of high unemployment rates, and they ensure that workers sign a contract, but the contract is kept by the employer. The employee has no copy. So they don't know the terms. Tomorrow, if there's anything, they say, under this clause, you did A, B, C, D. So if the employee is in a very bad situation, why? They need rent, they need to eat, there's no way out. So they have to agree to be subjected to such inhuman treatment. And even these rights we're talking about, that you have to work 8 hours. You find people have agreed to work endlessly without even asking for overtime, because they know that is it. So my appeal to workers, one is that let the work not be the end. If you have worked in a place, try to save and think of plan B. Try to do some other work. So that in the event you lose the job, you don't cry and feel like the world has ended because of losing a job. Yes, there are institutions which are supposed to help, but also institutions, they have challenges, they take time. For instance, the law says the labor officer should dispose of the matter within 90 days. But you find a district has one labor officer, and there are many industries, or there are many workers in that place. They have many disputes to handle. So if they are to adjudicate, hear the case and give a decision, it is impossible for a labor officer one labor officer to hear maybe 100 cases and dispose them off within 90 days. And it prays to the employer. The employers feel happy, because you find if I have not paid the worker for, let's say, 4 months, and the employer decides to go and complain, someone can go to the labor office and deny. It takes some time. By the time the labor officer gives you a decision, say you should get your 4 months pay, because the labor officer doesn't have power to order you to be paid damages, or to be paid costs, or to be paid even interest. You'll find the employer has won. Or even in the industrial court, you find the case is taking 2, 3, 4 years. You lost a job in 2020, 2025, you're still waiting for a decision. And you find the money which you have got at the end of the case is really minimal. So the institutional challenges, one, the industrial court is understaffed. They have one registrar who handles administration.
The fact that there's just one industrial court in the entire country alone is a challenge, let alone understaffing of that industrial court. Yes,
they have one registrar who handles executions from the awards of the labor officers and also executions of the industrial court, but also is administrative. So there's a lot of work which is done in administration. Then the industrial court has only 2 judges instead of 5. So at least you have five panels running at the same time, but now you have only 2. And you find really the judges are overworked. They're overworked, also just as workers, they're overworked. The workload is too much.
must take their
they now,
leaves.
yes,
yeah, so.
They run regional circuits. They are in Barara, they are in Mbare, they are everywhere, and you find the circuit of Kampala is always there. So you find people are crying, delayed judgments, no hearing dates.
Yeah.
So
with that one
challenge, it goes to government to ensure that at least there's enough staffing, so at least now we can have.
Council, as a way on government to respond to the staffing challenges that you are talking about, so that the other elements can all fall in place, you know, those that are facing the wrath of, you know, their rights being infringed on, can't wait.
Of course.
They're losing lives.
Of course.
They have bills to pay. They have families to take care of. Even they themselves, their state of mind and mental health, etc. It begs the question, are there alternative resolutions that people can, you know, pick up on? Are there alternative mechanisms that workers can actually use to be able to find the justice that they need and deal with the disputes that they are facing?
Yes, there are mechanisms. There are other institutions like the Competence Commission, but also I don't know how much time they take to handle cases and finish them, because
6 months, a maximum of 6 months.
You see, it is 6 months, and Industrial Court now has introduced mediation, mandatory mediation, that you must speak. You must speak not as a process, but you must speak. If there are issues of non-payment of wages, you must settle that. Not necessarily that if you have a dispute, you can't insist that no, I want to first be heard, to determine the dispute. At least they are insisting that at least let's have a mediation, so that at least some matters can be concluded. And also maybe usually clients listen to lawyers. So when the employers are refusing, it means someone has advised them, please hold on. So I think if lawyers can also embrace the idea that in a workmanship, someone cannot always be 100% right. There can be errors from either side. That way, it will be easier to resolve disputes. Because if someone sticks that no, this person was wrong, he had to be terminated, without looking at a possibility that maybe court can decide otherwise, then you'll find you are making court to always determine. Even when you know that you are wrong, you are waiting for court to tell you that you are wrong. So mindset change of our colleagues in legal practice, especially those who represent employers, can also help, because the employers or clients listen to the advice given by the lawyers.
All right. Yusuf, on that note, this year's theme of International Labour Day is industrialization, trade and decent work for social justice. What are the realities for us on these themes, and the breakdown of this theme as a country, and also what remedies can we have to ensure that there's quicker justice that is offered in this sector? You do have decent work that is offered, of course, covering as many rights for workers as possible, but also at the end of the day that industrialization is fair on all levels.
All right, thank you, Priscilla. But before I answer that question, I want to also let Ugandans that whereas the employees are ignorant of the law that protect them as workers, we should also know that sometimes the employers themselves also are ignorant of the law. You take an example of domestic workers, people use maids, people use at home. You'll have a maid, but you don't even know the laws that you are under which you are supposed to operate with this person. You are just living with the person, you are just there. To start with, our council has said that the moment you give someone work, you have already signed a contract with this person. But sometimes you need a written contract. How many people in Uganda here have contracts with their maids?
None.
Even a sky.
or the sky, or the shamba boy.
In UK, there was no contract.
You see? We translated our kind of doing things here to some other places, yes. So you find that there is also a gap on the side of the employers. So as we publicize the laws to the employees, it is prudent that we also ensure that the employers also get to know the laws that govern employees.
Okay.
Yeah, and now to cross over to your question. A decent working environment is subjective. It depends on what point of view someone looks at it. So as a country, Uganda is trying as much as possible to ensure that its people really work under very decent environments. I can assure you that in the recent past, about 2 months, I think in the past 2 months, we have almost visited all sugar producing industries, factories in Uganda.
Okay.
We are going to those sugar factories and telling them, you people, these are the
these are your rights.
Yeah, these are the operating
Okay.
procedures you're supposed to work.
Okay,
you know,
so
yeah.
we're out of time, but I know that this is going to be a conversation we're going to be covering all day long. As a country, how are we celebrating the day, Yusuf?
We are in Tesoland, and I mean, we have an event that side,
okay.
and we are using much of the time that side to publicize the laws that protect workers.
Okay, national celebrations are taking place in Fort Portal, and NTV will be bringing you those celebrations live. We're going to be taking a short breather, but more conversations are coming your way. Do stay with us.